Oh, Canada, a country currently famous for our support/enabling of terrorism on our soil. We have Panoon running around threatening to blow up an innocent plane full of Hindus in November. Seems like Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh are perfectly fine with blowing up airplanes. We have people on the streets calling for the complete annihilation and decimation of the Jewish people. Seems like that's A-okay too. So how can we take our terrorism support from a 10 out of 10 to a 12 out of 10? And the answer might be 500,000 refugees from Gaza. Now, let's just break this down. Okay. There's a reason why no one in the Arab world wants these Palestinian refugees. Oh, they all stand with Palestine, but no Palestinians. Egypt's marshalling millions of soldiers just to make sure they get zero Palestinian refugees. And they used to own Gaza from 48 to 67. They know why they don't want it. They helped turn Gaza into such a hub of terror through the Fedayeen over years. They also know that the Muslim Brotherhood runs Gaza, and their primary political opponent domestically of Sisi was Morsi's Muslim Brotherhood. Same with Jordan. So there's a reason why they don't want Palestinians. They both used to own the Palestinian territories. They didn't want them. Don't want anything to do with them. Qatar, which hosts the Hamas leadership in their own luxury villas and five-star hotels, they don't want any Palestinian refugees. And zero. And it's not like they could literally turn them into slaves. Qatar is a slave economy. It's gas and slaves. They could literally take in all the Palestinians, turn them into slaves, and use them as slaves. And they don't even want to do that. But we're going to dump them on the Western world because we're idiots. Now, this comes from the Israeli plan. It's not even a plan, really. The Israelis are just musing, okay, where do the refugees go? They say, oh, they'll probably end up in Egypt, and the Arab League will finance them, and they'll probably end up somewhere with very lax immigration policies like Canada. So it's not even like they're trying to dump them on Canada. They just correctly identified that we're so stupid, we'll probably end up taking them. So then there was this rumor that Canada's about to take 500,000 Palestinian refugees. Now, is this the number? Is it not the number? We don't know. But the foreign minister, when the Canadian government was asked about this, they couldn't either confirm or deny. They couldn't even say that's a ridiculous number. And just to put the 500,000 in perspective, we're a country of 40 million people. This would be adding more than 1% of our population. There's no way we could even handle this. Not even, let's take the cultural element and the anti-Semitism and the terrorism out of it. We can't handle 500,000 people. Like, remember when Justin Trudeau got elected in 2015? His big thing was, during the Syrian Civil War, we were going to take in 25,000 Syrian migrants. And that was 5 times our capacity. We usually took in 5,000 refugees per year, which was a lot in the global world. It was a huge amount in the global world. 5,000 per year. And he wanted to quintuple that. So we did. And then broke the immigration system. Like, the current refugees we have, they don't get support. They don't get financing. They're living on the streets. They're filling up the homeless shelters. They're in hotels. They don't get to talk to an immigration rep. They speak to the government official in charge of helping them out maybe once a year. And we want to go from 25,000, which broke the system in 2015, to a point where we're still not able to recover. And then add 500,000? Are you insane? Now, why would they do this? Well, it looks like the Liberals are trying to fast-track refugees to citizenship status so they can vote. All these Syrian refugees, all of them are being fast-tracked into the voting train. So is this Justin Trudeau's plan to import 500,000 people with vicious anti-Semitic and anti-Hindu and anti-atheist and anti-Western values to vote for him in a rather, another Faustian move by Justin Trudeau? On October 7th, when Hamas broke through the border fence, tons of Palestinian civilians followed in. So when they saw the border fence, they came in. Civilians came in to rape and pillage and murder along with Hamas, and then went back. And then when Hamas was parading the dead bodies of Jews and the kidnapped victims, you saw people around the streets. Yay! You still see that now, playing outside. You've seen videos of them showing the massacre that Hamas livestreamed to crowds of thousands of people in Gaza, cheering while they see Jews being raped, murdered, tortured. Cheering. And 500,000 is literally a quarter of their population. So 1 in 4 people in a country where over 95% of them have extremely anti-Semitic views. We're just going to bring them in, 500,000 people unvetted? What's the utility here? We can't even handle them, even if they were all, let's say English-speaking, pure Western values. They're reading, Edmund Burke and Thomas Paine and the Federalist Papers, and they all have a picture of John A. Macdonald in their homes. We still can't handle 500,000. Logistically, we can't. Like, we already have a homeless crisis, and the homeless shelters are filled up with refugees. The hotels are filled up with refugees. We're not building new homes. Where are we going to put these people? Let alone, what do these people believe? There's no way to bring in people from Gaza in any type of legitimate vetting. But it looks like that's what we're going to do. So the only feasible explanation I could think of from the Liberals of why they would accept this is they plan to import these people quickly to build up a voting base. They'll dump them in the GTA, where there's a bunch of swing ridings. They'll be dumped in the GTA around Mississauga, Brampton, Thornhill, all the places where it could swing Liberal or Conservative. This will probably be the plan, GTA, Montreal, Vancouver too. All the sort of suburbs where there's, swing voting that's going on, and they'll dump them in as fast-track Liberal voters. It's the only reasonable explanation to think to this. Now, I hope we don't bring in, I'm going to be honest, I hope we bring in, if everyone who has Canadian citizenship in Gaza can come in. Everyone who's ready to paperwork, but no more now. You see Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, all of them are in civilian clothes. There's no feasible way to vet to see if these people are part of literal terrorist organizations or not. There's no feasible way to do it right now. None of them who don't have Canadian citizenship can come in. None. Zero. But unfortunately, this is Canada. And Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh have been vociferously defensive of the anti-Semites in our country. They do not care about the Jewish people. They do not care about Western values. In fact, Justin Trudeau says there are no core Canadian values. So what's it to them to just bring in another 1.2% of our population and completely destroy the economy and the social fabric? Because that's what will happen if you bring in 500,000 people. Again, we brought in 25,000 Syrian refugees, and nothing against Syrians. Nothing against them. But that number broke our system. We went 5 times the amount we could handle right away, and it broke the system. And now refugees don't get the same support they did prior to the Trudeau administration. You want to take that number and times it by, 25? Cultural suicide. 20. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.